YouTube, what's poppin', baby? Welcome back to the channel. Browns got a victory, which is why I look like I just swam 17 laps in the pool because you know me. I was over here working up a sweat trying to show my number one fandom, and you know I had to get sweaty with the boys. So that's why we looking like this right now. But before we get into the post-game thoughts and reaction, make sure you guys like and subscribe on the video, and we'll be doing a lot of giveaways this year, so you gonna want to be subscribed because it's gonna be lit. But let's get right into this post-game talk. I mean, where do we start, right? I think there's only one place to start, and then there's only one other place to go after we talk about the start. And number one is this defense. Jim Schwartz, wow, what an addition that was this offseason. I know we all wanted another guy that I'm not even going to mention because he doesn't even need to be mentioned in this video. But Jim Schwartz gave us Christmas early with this defense because our eyes are not deceiving us, all right? I know, like I was talking about it earlier in the TikTok stream about how this feels like a real defense, and then I sat back and thought, like, dang, I mean, we're Browns fans. How do we know what a real defense feels like? But ultimately, I think that we can see that this is the real thing. So I think that everyone's feeling is genuine, that this is the real deal. So we start off by tipping the hats off to Jim Schwartz and the whole defensive, everyone from ZD to Myles Garrett to Okwuegbunam to Grant Delpit, Denzel Ward, Martin Emerson, Short. The list goes on and on. Everyone, Taki, Anthony Walker, everyone was making plays today. Everyone was flying around, and that was fantastic to see. Number two, there's only one other place to go after you tip your hat off to this amazing defense, and that is D-Hop. No, not DeAndre Hopkins, Dustin Hopkins. Because Dustin Hopkins, man, did he give us oxygen? Because for the past 4 preseason games that we watched, and all of last year, it was always holding our breath with Cade York, and we just couldn't figure out why he couldn't make a simple 35, 43-yard kick. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have ourselves a kicker, Dustin Hopkins. He went, I think he went 3 of 3 today, right? In the rain? 4 of 4? Where did he go? He went 3 of 3, 43, I think it was 43, 43, and 34. So what a breath of fresh air that is to have a kicker who seems to be automatic from 43 under. And it was no better test than to have it in the rain on the lakefront, which he should be adapting to, because that's the type of condition he's more than likely going to be playing in going forward in colder weather into November and December, and you guys know the rest from there. Obviously, we got to talk about the offense. I think it was a work in progress. We'll say that. We started out. It's funny because you expect growth in certain areas, but as long as Kevin Stefanski has been this head coach, there really hasn't been growth in our first half, our first half presence. We either come out and everything's clicking, or it looks exactly like that. We always start out slow with Kevin Stefanski for some reason. I don't know why that is, but I don't know if it's something that he does in the locker room. I don't know if it's something that he does with the game plan. But for whatever reason, Kevin Stefanski is a second half guy. He's not a first half guy. And I think that's just something that we're going to have to live with. And I know it's easier said than done because week in and week out, as soon as we see Kevin Stefanski go 3 and out, we're ready to cut his head off and hire the next coach that we can have. And we just know that that's not going to happen. So we have to always find the silver lining and the good things to go with Kevin Stefanski. And I do think that you can pick and choose where Kevin Stefanski has his positives. And today, as much as we want to beg for him to hand Chubb the ball, I mean, Chubb touched the ball 18 carries, 4 receptions. He got the ball 22 times. It's not the way that you want to see him get the ball. I'm really not a fan of Nick Chubb, the receiver. I just think he looks uncomfortable in that role. But Nick Chubb is Nick Chubb. 18 carries, a $106, no touchdowns. I know a lot of sports bettors probably lost a lot of money betting Nick Chubb touchdown because I was one of those people that had Nick Chubb in their lay. Marquise Goodwin. I just saw his name up on the receiving chart, and you've seen glimpses of what they want to do with Marquise Goodwin. The one pass did go through his hands, but I'm going to give this sample size the benefit of the doubt because both of those passes that Marquise Goodwin had on the long ball, Watson had about a second and a half to even throw the ball. One of them was just a chuck up. The other one was slightly overthrown, but I think Marquise Goodwin, or underthrown, I think Goodwin could have came down with it ultimately. And the other reason, obviously, is the rain. The rain was a huge factor in this game, which it showed in the receiving box score. 3 receptions for Elijah Moore, 43 yards. Amari Cooper, 3 receptions, 37 yards. David Njoku, 2 for 24. And that's pretty much it. DPJ had 1 big catch on the sideline that resulted in the first down. That's all he had. And David Bell dropped the ball. That's huge when there's a plethora of receivers that look good and that have showed out in training camp, and you know who's next up on that depth chart. Cedric Tillman, he's waiting. So David Bell's probably about a drop or 2 away from not being on this depth chart or on this receiving sheet at all. So that's something to keep an eye out for. We gloss over to the Bengals box score real quick. Again, the defense. Tip your hats off to them. 14 of 31 for Joe Burrow. 82 yards passing. 82 yards. Yeah, I said that right. How? How, Sway? I don't even know what else to say other than how. I mean, Joe Mixon almost had more rushing yards than Burrow did passing. That is just an exceptional job. Everyone on the defense gets a game ball, from the coaching staff all the way down to the very last man on that decent player who's on the roster, because it was an exceptional performance. Am I missing something, chat? Am I missing? What else am I missing? Jack Conklin injured. How do I feel about that? I think that I'm not trying to sound like an asshole or a dick or anything like that, but it almost felt like we knew that was coming. It seems like year in and year out, Jack Conklin just can't find a way to stay healthy, and it's unfortunate because we signed him to a really big contract. So now I think this offseason, we always have expectations for Andrew Berry, and we know Andrew Berry always says he's going to do whatever he can to make this to put the best roster available. I think it's time that we address this offensive line. I think Jedrick Wills is coming down. He did some good things today. He looked good on a couple pulls, but he gave up a lot of rushes and a lot of pressures. And hats off to Juwan Jones. He came in, stepped in, and played phenomenal, because we weren't saying, oh, who's that on the right side getting blown up? So he did his thing today. But I do think in this offseason, it may be time to start looking to bolster up, or at least get some depth on this offensive line, because we're starting to see the chinks in the armor. We're starting to see it crack just a little bit, and we'd rather have the insurance going forward than be like, dang, we can't do nothing because our offensive line is god-awful. Cleveland is Cleveland. Facts, bro. Facts. We got Pittsburgh next week. Monday Night Football, so obviously Sunday is going to be a dull day for us Browns fans, but we'll manage. We'll get through. Luckily, we're going on a W, 1-0. We've got another opportunity to go 2-0. Remember last year we couldn't seal the deal. I was at the Jets game. We all know what happened in the Jets game. I don't even have to repeat it. We all know what happened. But we do have the Steelers on Monday Night Football, so we'll be live Monday. I'm gonna go through some things this week to see if we're gonna do a primetime game. If you guys would be down for a live stream on the primetime game. Frank Dog, I appreciate the roses, brother. But other than that, man, I appreciate the Tiny Diney as well. Other than that, I appreciate all of you guys who tuned into the live stream. And if you guys aren't following the TikTok and have checked out this live stream, make sure you guys do, because it's a vibe. There's tons of Browns fans. There's haters. There's all of the above, but we have fun. And this is ultimately a good time. And we're about to do hella giveaways this year, so make sure you guys are stay tuned. And holy crap, Frank Dog just sent a paper crane. I appreciate you, bro. But that's it, YouTube, and I'll catch you boys on the next video. Peace!